Did you get to go to the first ever Overland of America event? Hi, everybody. I'm Rob, and this is Stormcrow Overland, where we talk about going on adventures, road tripping, camping, and just generally getting out and enjoying life. On this episode, we're going to talk about the first ever Overland of America event that was held at Mid America Outdoors in Jay, Oklahoma. This event happened this past weekend. Uh, it honestly was amazing. It was really, really good, and for a first time ever event, it was amazing. The guys that put this event on, Chris and Robbie, so they're the two like kind of masterminds behind this whole event, and you can tell they are just genuinely nice guys. Uh, Trying to make sure I get this right. Chris runs Extrusion Overland, is very passionate about overlanding. He is just a fun, kind of rambunctious, energetic, fun guy. That he kind of got this whole thing started with his buddy Robbie. His buddy Robbie runs events for a living, and you can tell because this event was ran exceptionally well. Um, One of the first things I noticed is they took care of their vendors really well, which is really important. You may not think so if you're just or someone just attending, but you take good care of the vendors come back, vendors donate prizes. The more vendors you have, the more stuff you have for people to come see. You need vendors to have a good event like this. So it was, you could tell they knew what they were doing by taking care of their vendors. Um, I'm not traditionally a vendor. I was there helping out. I was teaching classes on behalf of Switchback Outdoor Safety. I was teaching some medical classes. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and plug Switchback Outdoor Safety. Aaron Paris runs an amazing program there. They're out of Kansas City, Missouri. They offer off-road recovery training and medical training. Uh, all their off-road trainers are I4W DTA certified, which is the top tier, best in the world certification for any kind of off-road recovery training, and I believe off-road driving as well. Those are the guys you want to get training from. I've been through several other trainings. I spent a whole day out at Aaron's place doing a day training out there for off-road recovery, and it is amazing how much you can learn about how to do it the right way, the safe way. I'll check my notes real quick. I had a lot of thoughts, so I want to make sure I got them all out. Something else I noticed with Chris and Robbie running this event, it was exceptionally well organized. I mean, everything was set up and labeled. There was maps online ahead of time. The schedules were all laid out. Check-in was super smooth. I heard there might have been some, it got a little clustered up toward the, I think Saturday when they had a lot more people coming in. But at least at the beginning, especially with the vendors coming in, it was super smooth, taking people to the booth, showing everybody where to be. Here's your wristband, here's your lanyard, here's your this. Very well done. But with that, they were really, really organized, but they also knew when to step back and let people have a little bit of fun without letting things get too out of hand. I was a little concerned going into this. I was like, man, they're going to have this, all these different things that we'll talk about throughout the video. They purposely were trying to make this a more fun event with more things going on. And I was worried that it was going to be a little more of a party atmosphere. It was going to get a little wilder than what I wanted in an event for me to go to. And if that's your thing, that's great. No, I'm not talking down to it. It's just not what I was looking for in an event. But it never did. This was super family friendly, even with the Barbie Jeep downhill and the pool party and stuff. It was, like I said, it was loose enough that everybody had fun, but everybody was kind of reined in enough to keep everything family friendly. Nobody was acting super crazy. Uh, yeah, it was great. Balance. Yeah, like I said, just really great. All right, hang on one second. All right, so now that we talked about kind of an overall view of the event, um, got to talk about the actual facility where they held this event. It's Mid America Outdoors. Like I said, it's out by Jay, Oklahoma, which is pretty far northeastern Oklahoma. It's actually up past Tulsa. It's a weird combination of kind of in the middle of nowhere, but kind of not that far from anywhere. If you're anywhere in Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, any of that, it's only probably a couple hours away. I know lots of people that were doing day trips, that came up just for like the day on Saturday from Oklahoma. I have some others from like Missouri and stuff. like I said, it's a little far. Like I said, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's really not that bad. And if you're talking about people for an overland event, we're used to traveling anyway, so there you go. It's not that bad. The It was nice though. The bathroom situation was great. They had a full bathroom house with multiple bathrooms and showers and laundry, porta potties for places that were a little further out. Even the laundry facility. This is where you can tell that Robbie really knows how to run an event and thinks of all the little things. There was a laundry house where you could go and do laundry, a little like almost like washateria, but they even had free laundry detergent for you to use, just in there ready to go. Because that's something you're probably going to forget if you're going on a camping trip but need to do laundry because you're going to be there a couple of days. Especially some of the vendors that are there 4 or 5 days. It just shows that they're really thinking these things through. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe the entire facility was like 1,600 acres. And they had actually worked with an off-road guy to go through and map out a bunch of trails and had uploaded these trails to Gaia and onX, both of them, and had them available to download off the website. So you could do that ahead of time, have that stuff go ahead and saved in whatever device you're using for off-road navigation, and then you could go out there and find the trails. With me being there and kind of working in a booth and stuff, I didn't actually get to check the trails out. I was kind of working. But the few people I talked to said the trails were really, I saw some videos some of my friends took and stuff. They were really neat. They were fun trails. They weren't super challenging, but challenging enough to be interesting, but still entry level enough that someone brand new could still go on some of them and have fun. They kind of had some easier ones and some more advanced trails, which seemed like a good way to break it up. That way everybody can get to play some. I know on Saturday, Heavy Metal Off-Road did a guided tour run on trail, or guided trail run, and I believe they had 63 vehicles is what I heard, and multiple of those people had never been on a trail before. This was their first time to ever go out and actually go on a trail. So good on Heavy Metal Off-Road for going out and doing that for everybody. That was neat. From what I heard, it took almost 20 minutes to get everybody onto the trail just because 63 vehicles takes a little while. Lots and lots of quality vendors. For a first time event, okay, not like trying to compare one event to another. If you look at something like More Expo, no, they didn't have that many vendors. But More is kind of more vendor centric. This was a little more in between. If you think of like More and Rendezvous in the Ozarks, More is almost all vendors. It's almost like a vendor-centric show, more like SEMA is. Where Rendezvous is more of just a hangout and go ride trails, and there's a couple of vendors there. Overland of America did a really good job of kind of splitting that difference. They had a really good number of high-quality vendors, companies you would know and products you would want to see. No weird stuff like you might see at gun shows and stuff where it's like, oh, good stuff, someone randomly selling jerky, good stuff, someone selling Beanie Babies. Nothing like that. All the vendors were high quality, good stuff, companies you know, companies you would want to see and talk to. Lots of them doing giveaways in their booth, great show deals going on and stuff like that. I'm sure there might have been a little bit of haggling, people getting really good deals on Sunday whenever he was getting ready to pack up. It looked like several of them were selling out of stuff pretty quick. So that was good. They also had a storyteller section, and it was kind of interesting. They did it a little different than some of the other events. Instead of having a lot of storytellers, they purposely limited it to just 5. They wanted to go for the quality over quantity, and they did a really good job. They had some of the biggest names in Overland YouTube and Overland podcasts there. I had to write them down to make sure I got them all right, but Grant from Arkansas Off-Road was there with his truck. Kelly from Adventure Built with, I forgot what he calls his truck, the Adventure Ute or something like that. He was there. Matt and Kara obviously were there. They're at almost everything, it seems like, with Ozark Overland Adventures. Baker from Baker Overland was there. He's an amazing guy, makes great videos. And finally, Tyler and his wife, I think Katrina, I think that's her name, from Independence Overland were there, along with Blue. That was a treat because I had never met them before, so I got to sit and talk to them for just a little bit. But they had them set up kind of, off next to the vendors, all 5 of them, with their vehicles and plenty of times where you could go up and just sit there and talk with them, whether it was just say, hey, I like your videos, or if you had questions about their rigs. I talked to Tyler a little bit about some of the new things he was doing to his truck that haven't made it to the videos yet, so that was kind of neat to get a little sneak peek. But also, they didn't just sit at their vehicles. They kind of wandered around too, and they were checking booths out and talking to the vendors, and just getting out and kind of mingling with everybody else. So it wasn't like they were just kind of up on a pedestal. They were out with everybody. It was neat. It was a really neat way to do it. All right. Talked about the trails, camping options, just for where you're going to stay at the event. A lot of options. I ended up staying in the vendor camping area just so I could be close to where the booth was, going back and forth, getting food and water and stuff like that, which it was very convenient. A lot of the vendors, especially the bigger vendors that were selling things like rooftop tents and stuff, a lot of them just stayed in their booths, which that's neat too. But you had options. They had RV hookup sites with full electric and everything like that. You could rent. They had cabins to rent. They had dry cabins to rent. I mean, a significant number of cabins were available, from, like I said, small little dry cabins that are basically just somewhere to sleep, to full-on like vacation cabins. And finally, they had what was probably the most interesting thing, and where I would have been if I wasn't in the vendor camping. They called it prairie camping. Basically, the whole area where all the off-road trails were was open for you to kind of disperse camp anywhere in there you felt like. They had areas kind of mapped out, especially on the Gaia and Onyx maps they had done. Large areas mapped out where it was cool. Anywhere in here you want set up. And I know some of the folks that came from Oklahoma City like me, they kind of grouped up in one area over there. And like I said, that's where I probably would have been if I wasn't in the vendor area, but it was really neat. So you kind of got your option when you were doing the camping. Did you want a full-on dispersed camping where you were out in the middle of nowhere and there was no one going to bother you kind of thing? Or did you want to group up with some people and have more of a festival kind of atmosphere? You had options. So that was really kind of neat. It's not something you usually see. Like, you know, Rendezvous kind of like that, but it's still just one big open area. This was, you could be right off the trail out in the woods if you wanted. Just a different approach that was neat to see. I mentioned earlier that they tried to make this event, Chris and Ravi did, a fun event. So it wasn't just vendors, it wasn't just hanging out near trail routes. There was things to do. Some of those things, they had a Barbie Jeep downhill. You've never heard of this before. I know they've had it at some other events before, but the way it works is you get kind of an old busty Barbie Jeep like a little kid would ride on, and they had a fairly steep downhill section. He's at least 45 degrees. I briefly considered trying to sign up for this until I saw the hill, and I immediately chickened out. It was at least 45 degrees angle down. And they had a big giant tarp on it. They kind of hosed down, and there was a nice little pond at the bottom for you to crash into. And that's what they did. They got on these Barbie Jeeps right at the top and rode them all the way down. And I'm pretty sure everybody crashed. It was, I didn't actually get to see it because it was when I was teaching a class, but I saw a lot of the videos of it, and it looked hilarious. It looked like a hoot and a half. I wish I could have been there to watch it. If they do it again next year, I will definitely find a way to be there to watch it. The other event they did was they did a pool party on Friday night. And with the pool party, they also had a giveaway. So they had a live DJ playing music, and it was really good music. It was a nice kind of variety. It wasn't just new stuff. It wasn't just old stuff. A good variety of music kept everybody entertained. And they were selling raffle tickets. Everybody got one free raffle ticket. And then other than that, you could pay $20 and get a full arm span. I don't know if I'm going to fit in the frame, but a full arm span worth of tickets. So people were being really tricky about who they had buying their tickets for them. You know, if you were the guy with the long arms, you were probably buying tickets for a lot of people. I'm pretty sure they said they had $35,000 worth of prizes to give away. I mean, Shift Pod tent, some rooftop tents, fridges from Iceco, Red Arc stuff, good stuff. And with that, I'm very happy to say I won 2 prizes. I won a set of Midland handheld GMRS radios, which are always handy, and I won a coffee bundle from Logic Overland, which is interesting because I don't normally drink coffee. I keep thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I would really like, because I found out a long time ago I thought I didn't like beer, and it turned out I didn't like cheap beer. I like good beer. And I was thinking, well, maybe I do like coffee, and I just don't like cheap coffee. Like I kept thinking, I want to try coffee, try good coffee one day. And then I win this coffee prize pack, and it was 2 bags of their coffee, a Jetboil Flash Java, which has got just a Jetboil, which is very cool, and a Stanley coffee press. And I was kind of interested, and as soon as I got home, my wife loves coffee, so she was already excited I won. As soon as I got home, got the coffee out, put it in the grinder, because I didn't have a grinder with me camping, but because I don't normally drink coffee. Yeah, we ground the beans up, threw it in the Jetboil. I've never used a Jetboil before, I just don't. But that was cool. That worked really quick. Made coffee, and actually really, really good. I need to make a whole separate video on that and send it over to send Logic Overland to thank you, because that was really cool. So that was really neat. I won some really cool prizes. But at the pool party, they were doing something like, you could tell that selling the tickets was taking a little bit longer than I think they expected, which happens. Things happen at events. Things don't always follow the timeline the way you think they will. But Robbie did a good job of adjusting on the fly and going, hey, let's do a belly flop contest. He was like, anybody that's interested, line up. We're going to do belly flops, and we'll all, you use applause to vote for who does the best. And he got the t-shirt vendors to bring him some cash to give away for prizes for the belly flop contest. That was really cool. There was some other kind of giveaway stuff that came with some of the prizes. It was some cutting boards, just some HDPE cutting boards with company's logo on them. And instead of having someone win that as their with their their ticket prize, it would be kind of disheartening if the person before you won a rooftop tent and the person after you won a fridge and you won a cutting board. So on those, he just took a couple of them and chunked them in the pool. It's like, all right, first person that can grab one can have it. Just some neat stuff to kind of keep things entertaining, make it fun for everybody. And it was hilarious watching full-grown adults haul butt toward the pool, dive in, fully clothed, shoes still on, phone still in their pocket for a cutting board. It was fun to watch. It was fun. And then finally on Saturday night, they did something extra neat that I've never seen in any kind of overland event before, even though I'm still kind of new to overland events. They did a film festival. They had these 5 high-quality storytellers there. Like I said, Grant and Kelly and Matt and Kara and Tyler and Baker. They had these guys there, and they had them all make a video just for the film festival. Now, obviously, they're all going to get released on YouTube after the fact. That's fine. I mean, that's normal. You expect that. But if you were there at the film festival, you got to see these videos get introduced by that creator in person, kind of tell you what the video is going to be about, what their inspiration was, and then you get to watch the video. And every one of them, they all took different approaches to the videos, but these were not their standard videos. You could tell every one of them put a lot of effort into these videos. Grant from Arkansas Off-Road, he did, because he's been making videos for 7 years now, and he went through 7 years of videos and pulled out all the highlights and the funny moments and the crazy things that happens, and just made like a giant highlight reel, which was amazing to see. Baker freaking made a video that was way, way deeper than I expected a YouTube video to be about. Ostensibly, it was just combining overlanding with someone that was flying, and he had a buddy that flew to a campsite, and they met him at the campsite in the overland vehicles, and they camped, and just talking about different ways to travel. But he also went into how overlanding kind of connects us back to that wonderment we had as children about just being excited about things and fun to just go play outside and find a cool stick, or, oh, cool, look, there's a squirrel. I'm going to sit here and watch the squirrel for 30 minutes, see what it does. Or, oh, a bird. Stuff that we've lost as adults, and we get so wrapped up in bills and work and, or whatever other, requirements we have. And he was right. It seriously struck a chord with me that it was like, oh my God, that is what it is about overlanding. It gets us back to that childlike love of adventuring and everything being new. And I'm not discounting any of the other videos. All the videos were amazing. Tyler from Independence Overland did an amazing video about him trying to do some astrophotography, and it was hilarious. I don't know if I'm getting old or what, but I've gotten to the point where I really like watching birds. I never expected this. My grandfather had like a whole library of Audubon Society bird watching books, and I thought it was the weirdest thing growing up. And now I'm finding myself watching birds more. But in the video, he had a little bird that would follow him around. And it was just because there was being a bird. And it was hilarious. And I need to make sure that these videos are out before I release this video, so I'm not giving anything away. I might have to cut that out. But like I said, all the videos were amazing. I don't want to break down all the videos. They were all great. Way more effort was put into them than their standard videos. So that was a really neat thing that I've never seen at another event. And where they did the film festival was also where they did all the training events. Well, most of the training events. And it was an amazing, gorgeous pavilion with cool lights and lots of fans and a giant fountain out front, and polished concrete floors. And it looked like a wedding venue. And in fact, I thought I heard someone say the guy that owned the property built it for someone in his family's wedding, but I don't quote me on that. I could be misremembering. But it sure looked like it. It was fancy. Oh, and the screen they had. The screen they had for the trainings and for the film festival was some giant like LED monster screen that was super bright, super clear, just really freaking cool. Yeah. So that's really all I've got to say about the event. I mean, there was maybe a handful of things that could have been a little different. I talked to some of the people that were out prairie camping, and they wish there might have been a few more porta potties out toward the prairie camping sites. But every one of them that told me that brought their own ways to handle that problem as well. We're overlanders. We should be able to do that. We probably have the stuff for that. If not, InstaPrivy was there selling their stuff too. So that's not a huge deal. There were some minor little things here and there, but overall, nothing that I wouldn't expect from a first-time event. Nothing that I have no doubt will get fixed in the future. In fact, Chris and Robbie were even doing a great job of fixing things on the fly. There was, after the first day, I noticed several people mention to them like, hey, we had a lot of cars driving through this one area and it seemed a little unsafe because people were walking, and there, no problem. Instantly went, all right, we're gonna get some barriers, we're gonna put them up, we're gonna redirect traffic this way to make it a little safer and make sure this area is just for walking. And no problem. Guy in a booth, not far over from us, he needed power to run his booth, and his extension cord was like 2 feet too short, and they went out of their way to make sure they found a way to get him power. Even little things as far as they were taping down every extension cord everywhere to make sure there weren't tripping hazards. A lot of thought was put into this, trying to make it a great event, and it was a great event. If you didn't get to go, or if you were waiting to see how it went, go next year. You really need to go. There were some people complaining online about the price of it. It really was not that expensive. When you factor in how many nights camping you get and how many days of access you get to the thing, and if you were really worried about it, a day pass was like 25 bucks. Oh, and final note before I wrap this up, they had some of the coolest merchandise for the event. Like usually you go to like More Expo and there was like one More Expo shirt, and you go to Rendezvous and they have one shirt design for Rendezvous that year. They do a different design every year, but it's one shirt. They probably had 8 different shirts for the event. Completely different designs, different colors, different styles. And the same thing with hats. They had like 6 or 7 different hats. Like I said, different colors, different designs, different everything. To the point that I'm a little indecisive sometimes, and I kept walking by and going, man, I really want to get a shirt or a hat or both. And I just couldn't make up my mind. I couldn't pick one. I'm like, well, this one's cool, and that one's cool, and that one's cool. I like that hat, and I like that hat. Oh, that hat's cool. I ended up just not even getting one because I just couldn't make up my mind, which now I feel dumb. I should have just picked one. But I will be back next year and I will make sure I get one. So, but yeah, you guys have any questions about the event or anything I didn't cover, or you just want my opinion on something random with it, send me a message. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also find the audio. We release the audio as a podcast. Just search Stormcrow Audio wherever you, or Stormcrow Overland, wherever you find good podcast. If you're listening to this as a podcast, you can also find the video on YouTube. Just search Stormcrow Overland. I'd really appreciate a like, comment, follow, subscribe, any of that kind of stuff. You can on YouTube, Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. Just look up Rob Krupa. There's links to all this in the stuff below. You can send me an email at stormcrowoverland@gmail.com. If you've just got a random comment or question on any of those platforms, send it to me. Like I said, or if you want more information about the event, send me a message. I'll get back to you. That's really all I have for you. I had a lot of fun at this event, and honestly, I've been really slacking. I haven't made a video in months, and I'm like super reinvigorated after seeing all these people and getting to hang out with people like Benji from Newfound Overland and Mike Pruitt from Pruitt Knives of Valor, and hanging out with Baker and meeting Tyler. Hanging out with all these people, it got me just more inspired to start doing stuff again. So hopefully there will be more videos soon in the future. But remember, sometimes you gotta go out and get lost and maybe take a chance on a new event before you can find yourself. Thanks for watching.